I'm very excited about the opportunity to play in the New York Madison Square Garden.
I'm looking forward to playing there. It's been my lifelong dream to play there. What makes Anna such a good player is the fact that, she has a lot of power and a lot of variety in her game.
She's a great competitor and she's a very powerful player, and so you have to be on top of your game and try to be aggressive from early on.
I pretty much just work really hard and do the best that I can, and whatever that is, that's what I'm going to produce on the court.
I love competing and I don't like to lose.
This is for all the marbles, and I plan on taking it really serious.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the players for tonight's second semifinal match. The 2008 French Open champion, Ana Ivanovic. And the 2008 US Open champion, Serena Williams.
Where's Tip? I need a pen.
And here she is, a 21-year-old Ana Ivanovic from Belgrade, just like Jelena Jankovic, playing in Madison Square Garden for the very first time against, by far, I think we all agree here, the #1 player in the world, Serena Williams. That's a tough order, isn't it?
Well, of the four, I would assume that Ivanovic is the most nervous. She hasn't been in situations like this nearly as often. And also, she's not playing as well, but this person here thrives in it. This is something that she's lived for, and I think you can go by her record. She plays better when she's in situations where there's a lot of people that are amped up, and I think you can feel that the energy is quite a bit higher than it was when we started this match, Billie Jean.
Well, Serena's got...
started tonight.
To start tonight, but Serena's a real star. She loves Hollywood. She loves being out on the court. To John's point, she loves the more people, the better. And I've never seen anyone have more of a will to win. There is a person who never gives up and competes.
At the U.S. Open last year, Serena Williams won it again, beating... along the way, Venus Williams in that quarterfinal. I think that was probably the best looking match I've ever seen those two play. And then, of course, beating Jelena Jankovic in the final in straight sets.
Serena Williams should be the greatest player that has ever lived so far. Absolutely. I've told her that years ago. You have what it takes. And I think this, and you and I, Mary, were talking about this. This is the first year that we think she's totally serious about it. And, of course, she's won the Australian. So she is the only woman this year that has a chance to win the Grand Slam. All 4 majors in 1 year. Not only the Australian, the French, Wimbledon, and the U.S. Open. And she seems to be much more determined and seems to be much more balanced and settled into her thoughts and focus. And maybe it's just a sign of maturity.
There's Ana Ivanovic, last year's French Open champion. It was she's been a Grand Slam finalist before. She had gotten to the French Open final a couple of years ago. She was in the Australian Open final last year at the French. She finally, I can't say that. The kid's only 21 years old. Broke through, beating Jankovic in the semis, and then Dinara Safina, Marat Safin's kid sister, in the final.
She is already one of the most recognizable female.
She has got a new coach, Michael Barkhan's going to tell us more about that. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Mary. Thank you very much. With Craig Carton, who is also the coach. Venus mentioned the Philadelphia Freedoms. Here's the head coach of the Philadelphia Freedoms, but also now coaching Ana Ivanovic. Before we get down and breaking down the match, give me your sense of this occasion right now at the Garden.
Well, I think it's a great occasion for the Garden, for the girls to come in and play and open it back up for women's tennis. They used to have the year-end championships with the Virginia Slims here years ago, and it just looks like an electric, exciting night for tennis.
You broke down the first match. I know you were watching the first match. What did you see in first set?
Well, it was kind of like what Billie Jean said. The balls landing at the end of the court were bouncing a little bit little bit faster, and in the short court, they're bouncing a little bit lower. But, you know, I mean, you're playing for this much money and first time in the Garden for some of these girls. I think the nerves are coming into play here, and you only have one set, so you really got to get it going and get it going quick.
What's your sense of Anna's nerves on this night?
Well, I think she's pretty nervous coming out here, playing in the Garden and playing against Serena, you know, the #1 player in the world. But she played her a couple weeks ago in Dubai and got a slow start, but the second set she was actually up 4-1. So, you know, the main thing for Anna is just to get off to a good start tonight.
What is the one thing that you saw about her game and you said, I can fix this, I can work on this?
Well, I like the aggressive player, so I would hope that she won't come to the net a bit more.
Come to the net a bit more?
Sure, I think we can get her to volley a bit more. Use her serve.
Tonight? Right now?
I hope so.
Craig Carton, thanks, my friend. Appreciate it. With Craig Carton. Mary?
Thanks, Michael. Will it happen tonight?
I don't think it's going to happen tonight. No, I doubt it very seriously. But it perhaps it would be a sort of a left field shot. No matter what she does, it's not going to particularly impress Serena. Serena, when I watched her in Australia, you mentioned the win there. She was losing to Kuznetsova 7-6. I think Kuznetsova was serving for the match at 5-4. They switched sides. If you just turned it on then, you would swear that Serena was winning. The look in her eyes is like, okay, that's it. You know, you're not going to get this. And it's amazing
1 minute
how positive she is that she's going to win when she's in these very difficult situations.
That's what wins. They really isolate each ball and develop the points and win. But that is so hard to do. And a lot of players play the score too much. They're always thinking about the score instead of playing the ball. You got to play the ball. You got to play the moment.
Play the ball, yeah.
And I think the score dictates sometimes what shot you go for, like especially on your serve. But you've got to take one ball at a time, and that's the way you win. You stay in the process. You stay in the present. You stay in the now. That's what champions do better than the others.
I think I played the score too much.
Oh, yeah,
I
right.
was a good front runner, you know, but it's hard to, like, someone like Serena, there's dozens of times where she's come back from seemingly lost deficits.
I can't believe you said that about yourself. Do you truly believe that?
I believe, what did I say again?
You said you were a front runner. I mean, I'm shocked. I've got to get off the floor now.
Yeah. Well, I'll do 10 push-ups too.
I think the only thing that hurt you sometimes, you weren't in as good a shape you could have been. Now you're so fit, I can't believe it. God,
I'm 25 years late.
You just had a big birthday, Billie Jean.
That's true.
Happy
Don't rub
birthday,
it in.
John.
50's a new 40, I hope.
Totally.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match will be one no-ad scoring set. If the set is tied at 6 games all,
it's amazing though. Mary and I grew up 3-4 blocks from each other in Douglas and Queens, which is about half hour from here.
To win 7 points.
And Craig said it well, that to have tennis back here is, and Mary's talked about it before, is unbelievable. I mean, we've got to get a big event back here. You know, a real the year-end championship.
Maybe we can shift one of the events to here. That would be great.
Well, last year Pete Sampras played Roger Federer, as we have a quick look at Jay Snyder in the chair.
Jay's a great
I mean, they played to a rocked house here last year, and this. How about if we combine the men's and women's?
I want men and women here, so that would make me really
We get the
happy.
4 Grand Slam champions of the men and women.
That'd be fantastic.
Serena Williams won the toss.
So then you got to have more money, though. The money involved is very difficult. Also, John.
We'll chip in the. They'll give some of the money they won tonight, perhaps. We can give 10% down payment.
Here we go. Again, a reminder: just one set, and the champion goes on to play Venus in a 2 of 3 set final. Well, that is a very sincere start for Serena.
Whoa, what?
Night and day.
On the first point?
15 love.
That was a perfect point from start to finish. Developed the point off the ground and then beautiful finish. With
Well, I'm
the
assuming
overhand.
these two looked at took a gander at the first match, and they saw that both players are having trouble with the nerves. And they seem to have come out firing.
That's a nice big return from Ana Ivanovic.
I think it helps to be the second match as well, to watch the other two play and just kind of notice what's working, what isn't working on the court. Wow, that was powerful.
Could have been long, too.
See, I think they should play let serves, period. Just play. You have lets during the point.
You two want to change a lot of rules of this game.
I have.
How do you feel about the net? You want to keep that?
30-15.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to keep that barrier. That's what makes it...
I like the net.
That's what keeps us humble.
Billy, you said that you think, and I agree with you, by the way, that you think Serena could have been the greatest player of all time. It would be very hard for her at this stage to catch up to the likes of Graf and Everett and Navratilova. But she's won 10 Grand Slam singles titles, 20 Grand Slam titles in all.
I think, what did Graf have, 18?
She could
Graf
still
had
be the
22.
best ever. She still could be.
She can beat Graf's 22 singles titles?
Well, does she have to beat?
Martina and Chrissy had 18.
Oh, so I'm getting
Steffi
confused.
had 22.
That's about right.
If she won the slam again, or won 19 or 20, that doesn't necessarily mean she's not the greatest player, right? Are you just strictly going by how many slams?
No, I don't go by... Well, look at Rod Laver. He didn't get to play for 5 years. Pancho Gonzalez didn't get to play for 19 years. You can't really go by just the stats.
So you're saying Serena Williams can still be the greatest player of all time?
I believe it's still within her reach.
Look at her. She's got the most beautiful service motion. That's okay. She tried the right thing. It was a good move on Ivanovic's part.
40-30.
Saying, okay, I'm going to run one way or the other. She made Serena take her eye off the ball when she saw that. Look, I love the way she always stands up on her toes when she misses. She's a riot. She is so funny, her body language.
Yeah.
Game Williams.
Serena holds to start this one-set match.
Well, there's living proof you can't just come into the net.
Well, there was let courts there, but more importantly, she hit to the wrong spot. First of all, I don't think it's good in today's tennis when the person's standing in the middle of the court that you go to net. They don't have that much court to cover, and they're just too good off the ground now. I think you've got to get them off the court so you have more of the court to hit into on that volley.
You don't believe maybe chipping coming in up the middle sometimes?
I'm not big on it. It works occasionally. You have to do it as a surprise, but I wouldn't do it a lot unless that particular player just can't cope with it. You got to try things, though. You got to try and see what works.
And look what Serena tried just there, knowing that Ana Ivanovic has been struggling with her serve this year. Went after, just went for a winner off the serve, even though she missed the point.
That was a shank you very much, Mary.
Well,
just shanked it.
She missed the point, but she made her point.
Yes.
She was going to try to break down the serve.
Right, you're sending a statement to your opponent. You don't hit a good serve, I'm going for it. See how high that bounced? It's amazing on those deeper shots sometimes. It's really taking off and bouncing high, getting away from the players.
Well, that's actually more typical of the courts they play on, so that shouldn't surprise them too much.
She went after a toss that drifted well over to her side, Ivanovic.
Yeah, and I know Craig Carden, her new coach, does not want her to hit that one if it's a bad toss.
But John does.
John thinks she should have to hit it anyway.
So who are we gonna go with?
Go with Carden right now.
Right now, that's the rules.
Take advantage of the rule.
But he wants her to really get secure on that toss and make sure it's where you want it, and
I
then
don't
go
blame
for
him.
it. Craig's telling her a lot of the right things.
Of
course, I have to have disclosure here. Craig Carden's one of my best friends. And I used to help him with Martina Navratilova for 6 years. Well, the last 6 years of Martina Navratilova's singles career. So I know Craig well. And I think he's a great coach. And he makes it fun. And that's what That is exactly what Ivanovic needs. She needs to be having some fun out there.
Craig particularly liked showing on Ivanovic that his start was going to match her dress tonight. I think you're right. I think he knows how to keep things loose.
He wants her to have fun. I mean, he obviously wants her to work very hard, but she seems to be very contained. And he wants her to get out of herself and have some fun and just let it rip, because that's what's going to make her a better player. She is very much inward, very much self-contained. She needs to kind of like just let it out.
But then they had, I forgot who her previous coach was, but they had her pumping her fist virtually. Was it Sven Grunewald? Well, we'll get that. Mary will help me. Yeah. Mary, if I could read that, I would.
I think it's Scott Draper.
Scott
Draper. No?
An Aussie. And he's here tonight, too. They're like double teaming. Yeah.
Wow. 15 off.
Do you think she should stand over to the right more on Serena as well with that slice serve or not?
Yes, absolutely.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
I'm leading
Thank you for that.
Giving you a lead, man. Let's go for it. Whoa.
She's very strong, Ivanovic. She doesn't move as well as Serena Williams, so she's got to take advantage of balls like this.
Pretty smart of Ivanovic to challenge the Serena serve, positioning it as she's doing, putting pressure on her to take a little bit of the pressure off of her own serve.
It was a mishit, but nonetheless deep, and Serena didn't get her feet where she needed to be. This is huge for Ivanovic if she could get this lead. At least make a match of this.
Beautiful motion there from Serena to even things.
Well, she gets it. Now she's got to win 3 straight points, but she gets down so well for this ball. That's where her leg strength comes in handy.
And for the first time tonight, we have the no-ad system in place. This is the deciding point. Whoever wins this one, no deuce in this situation, no ad.
I'm surprised she's taken the return on this side for that very reason.
Game Williams.
You could get pulled off the court.
I agree. Bad choice. This is one time when you have no ad and you get the choice of receiving. Make sure you keep track of who's, what side are they serving better to.
Tomorrow night, March 3rd, catch a replay of Battle for Tobacco Road, Duke versus Carolina. It's a story of the fiercest rivalry in college basketball between two schools separated by just 8 miles. 10 p.m. Eastern on HBO.
It's only 8 miles?
8 miles, yeah.
Wow. I knew it was close, but not 8 miles close.
The last time that women's tennis was played here in this great Madison Square Garden arena, well, it was a while ago. Have to go back to when Martina Hingis took on Monica Seles. Do you remember? You remember this, don't you, Billy?
Sure I do. Are you kidding? I was here. That's when Chase was a sponsor. And
there it was, Hingis beating Seles 6-4 in the third.
And this is also the only arena, I believe, ever, correct me if I'm wrong, where the women played best of 5 a couple times.
Yes, they did.
Now we're a mere set with no ad scoring.
I think the men should
Took
play
about
2
a
out
good
of 3.
gig.
I don't like 3 out of 5. 2 out of 3. You know why? I want the best guys, particularly in the world, to be able to play a couple more years. I hate it when they quit the sport because they're so tired. I want them to be around as long as possible, not...
Why were you talking that way 30 years ago when I was playing?
I did talk that way. Nobody listens.
That's a
Whoa, that
horrible toss.
Yikes.
Boy.
Wonder what happens to her thought process on that.
She's thinking about where she returned that last ball. Look where that toss went.
Oh, my gosh. She adapted well on it.
You know, I asked Anna's new coach, Craig Carden, what he was doing with her toss, because at the Australian Open, where Anna was really getting tight, her toss was very, very high and it was drifting around. And I said, are you really concentrating on it? He said, no. He said, I'm hoping it takes care of itself. He says he's trying to get her to lead the toss into the court a little bit more so that her body stays closer to the ball, and which is one way to try to correct that. But I think he thinks it's become very mental now.
I don't talk about the toss that much when I coach. I talk about getting the ball placed up a little bit higher than your contact point. Because the ball does drop a little anyway. You know, it comes down and then you usually hit it. You don't really hit it at the very top. But I think it's important to get your sense of your contact point really clear in your mind. And that will take care of the toss. That was better.
Billie, I've known you and Craig for a very, very long time. He coaches an awful lot like you.
No, he has his own.
He does.
The one thing I love is to have, be able to discuss. Whoops. It's the wrong shot. Again, Serena's standing in the middle of the court. Do not go in on that one.
Well, first
if you're going to go in, you cannot. That's the wrong shot.
Well, first of all, Mary, she's not Billie Jean. She's not very comfortable in net.
No, she's
nor
not
is she
at
a
all.
very good volleyer. Plus, she's lost total confidence in her serve right now. And she was up 3-1 the previous game. Now, think of how difference the last 2 minutes or so has made this match.
All I know is Craig Carden, Anna's coach, is chewing that gum faster and faster.
I played a guy way back when I first started the tour. A guy by the name of Oni Paran. You remember him?
Sure, yeah.
He had
a string.
A string in his mouth.
Yes.
Because his toss was so messed up, connected to, I think, his shoulder.
Yes,
so
you're correct.
I thought I have this guy. I mean, no one can get away with this. I lost to the guy.
It really worked for him.
He has no teeth now. That's the only thing.
Of course. Whatever works, though.
Yeah, anything for a win.
That serve is just truly beautiful. The rhythm.
122.
It's just
nice.
perfect kinetic linkage. At least she's trying. Anna's at least trying to be more brave, and this is the only way it's going to happen. You've got to do it. You've got to have the guts and courage to try to do the right thing. Try different things.
Well, she doesn't move as well as the other three here tonight.
No, she doesn't.
So she's got to take more chances. That's what
Correct.
she did, that sort of slice, come in, hope for the mistake, but she got it now. And now at least, now it's 15-30. If she can break here, maybe there's still a chance she could win this.
Where Anna moves beautifully is on clay.
She would slide.
That's nicely done by Serena.
Now that's where Serena's unbelievable on those high shots around the midcourt. She gets in there and you can smack those for winners. It's as good as anyone.
That's just too good, though.
It's just, look at this. The serve set that up so beautifully.
117 out wide.
So great. What an athlete.
They have both won the French Open once. Anna winning it in 2008, Serena winning it back in 2002. If she wants to win the Grand Slam this year, winning all 4 majors in a calendar year, she'll have to try to win the French Open, where again her footing is not what it is on a hard court. She's got such great traction and balance.
It's that California problem.
It's really true,
We all
isn't
grew
it?
up in California.
John, you were mentioning that the women played 3 out of 5 set matches. Let's take you back into the finals. 1996, where 16-year-old Martina Hingis taking on Steffi Graf. And this was just a magnificent effort from both players, but by the end, Hingis had nothing left. Graf winning an easy 5th set there to take this title.
Well, at 16, that's a pretty tall order to play the fittest player of all time, arguably. I think maybe you got Martina, the two we see there. Steffi was taller, and one of the best players I ever got to practice with, Mary, was Steffi. First ball out there, I mean, she was just jumping around there, just full tilt.
Time.
Better practice than guys, to be honest.
Oh, her husband hit a nice
Her
ball,
husband
too.
could play pretty well, but and also another guy who, first ball out in the court.
Yes.
He was. We're going to get the most out of this hour we possibly can.
Yes.
And he would do that consistently. He'd also try to put holes in your, stomach with a couple of his early balls.
We're speaking, of course, of Andre Agassi, and Andre and Steffi are going to have the honor of trying out the Wimbledon court this year. Of course, they've got the roof now.
See how the roof
covered
works.
center court.
Yes, I've heard that rumor. It'd be nice. Little mixed doubles. Who are their opponents?
Haven't heard that.
I heard Henman's one of them.
Yeah, that could be.
And let's think of it's got to be. Think of a fourth who's not playing. Maybe someone like Monica or somebody.
Billie Jean King, by the way, is making her way down courtside because after this match, there's going to be a great tribute to the woman after whom this tournament is named, and who dreamed this dream for so long of having women playing on one of the great stages of the sports world.
What I'm amazed is she just keeps going at 100% tilt because she's got now the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. She's got this tribute here. Where do you go from here?
And she does keep going, John. In fact, you got to sit down with Billie Jean, and coming up, we've got a terrific feature that you did with Billie talking about that kind of stuff. Relentless, this woman.
Yes.
Nice looking service game here from Ivanovic.
Well, this is just a perfect example of this match of how mental the sport of tennis is. I mean, think about it. It was 1-all, 15-40 Ivanovic. She loses that game. Toss goes totally
Williams
awry.
leads 4 games.
Loses that. Okay, so now you think, okay, Serena's going to win this 6-3 in all likelihood. Then it doesn't seem to be anything wrong with her toss that last game when she was down 4-1. Some of the pressure off. I love her forehand now. She's got a great forehand, and she's got to figure out a way to utilize that more often. She's so tall, a little awkward. If she could just get a little stronger, those legs, keep herself better balanced, she'll be a lot of good things. She should take a chance here and really try to hurt Serena on this serve. A way to do that, Mary, is hit it harder, but hit it maybe up the middle more. Yes. Play it safer. Don't go for close to the line there because she's still tight.
It's called a let. We've seen Serena hasn't lost many points on first serve, has she?
I think it's safe to say that she's got the best serve that I've ever seen in the women's game.
Wow. There you go.
I like Billie Jean's motion, but in terms of this is not a serve that breaks down, and it's got power and variety.
You like it more than her sisters?
I do. Her second serve, Venus, has a tendency to break down on her more. Well, she proved she could be a pretty good squash player, I think, too. With that forehand, not a typical shot.
Nice opening here for Ivanovic. Here it comes. Here's her chance.
15-40.
Serena's decided to switch rackets.
Well, it may be a little loose. It's flying on it a bit. She did hit that off the back foot, which she can obviously do because she's so strong. More players do that. But she did aim over the high part of the net, which is a little riskier.
Twice in a row she found that net.
Now here's a 3-1 again now. She's got to break this time. That was an absolute prayer. I mean, I hope you missed the passing shot. No real belief in just sort of moving forward. You can't cover that if you hit it that short.
Still has a break point. Get back on serve. That is so clutch. This is what she does better than anybody.
Use. Deciding point, receiver's choice.
She plays the big points very, very intelligently. I mean, that serve up the middle, slicing away from Ivanovic, and the forehand hit with power, but over the low part of that. Excellent on that break point.
And on this deciding point, Ivanovic on the deuce court again.
What is she?
Game Williams. Williams leads 5-2. Ball change.
On April 11th, it's the premiere of Pacquiao Hatton 24/7, HBO's 4-week-long look into the lives of Manny Pacquiao and Ricky Hatton as they prepare for their big pay-per-view matchup on May 2nd. In the Philippines, Pacquiao is, talk about godlike.
Well, he's pretty big now in the States after what he did to De La Hoya. And if I were, I mean, that's quite a tall order for Hatton to me to step in after he got dismantled. And I think it was his last fight or a fight ago with Mayweather. And Mayweather might get intrigued, and they're trying to push him back, you know, get him back in the ring because he's a big payday for someone, but he's a tough guy to fight, just like she is so tough to play against. These players, you almost get the sense that they came here, they get an unbelievable payday, obviously, but that I don't get the feeling that for 1 second Ivanovic really believes she was going to win this.
Well, let me ask you
which is understandable in a way.
Let me ask you about Novak Djokovic, who won last year's Australian Open. He's 3 in a row. Just won a tournament last week. But don't you kind of get the sense from that serve, the first ever serve to win a major, that he wants to be number one, but he might not like that kind of pressure?
Yes, and that's what we're seeing the last 6 months or so. It's getting to him a bit. Now, that doesn't mean he can't regroup, though.
Right.
He could learn from this. He's still young enough to do so, I believe.
Serena's showing that serve was wide. But it's not, I mean, some people really enjoy being number one and feeling
like
that
Roger.
pressure.
Roger does.
And like this one.
Yes. Fair. But if he dropped to, say, 6 or 7, wait a second, I'm not sure I like this a whole lot either. And then you get that hunger comes back. So jury's still out.
30-15.
Only 2 people can win the Grand Slam, all 4 in 1 calendar year. This woman and Rafa Nadal. John, who do you think has a better chance of pulling that off in 2009?
Well, it's a great question, actually. And I think that I would have to give the slight edge to Nadal right now, because I think that he's gotten that Australian one under his belt, but not by much, because I think his toughest one's always going to be the Open, as Serena's is going to be the French. So
Exactly.
I think that's a tough call.
Be fun to watch, won't it?
Yeah, I think that's a good promo for our sport.
Game Ivanovic.
So Ana Ivanovic holds. And a reminder to those of you just joining us, we are in New York City. In fact, we're at Madison Square Garden. For so many years, this was the site of the men's and women's year-end championships. Tonight, live, it's the BNP Paribas Showdown, the Billie Jean King Cup. Serena Williams, who last year won the U.S. Open, and this year has already won the Australian Open, is serving for the chance to play her sister in the final, which is upcoming.
11-15.
That second serve there is sweet. I think the best word to describe that, because Ivanovic did want to move in, but she caught it late. Plus, she does something a lot of players don't do, Mary. She does serve into the body. She won the service game at 3-all last time. She had set it up with that wide serve, and she just keeps opponents off balance. The best way to try to relieve some nerves, obviously, the Serbs feel, is to smile and laugh, and keeps them from freaking out completely. and the crowd is, she's such a bubbly, nice personality. Ivanovic. They're starting to feel that. The crowd wants to see a little bit more tennis, but it's going to be tough now. One of the things they need to work on is her concentration off her return. She's, to me, watch her opponent more carefully. She doesn't have the natural quickness of a Serena, the foot speed of Jankovic.
And here is match point for Serena Williams. There it is.
Game, center match, Williams, 6 games to 3.
We are going to have an all-Williams final. And I have a feeling the fans here at Madison Square Garden are pretty good with that.
That's what they came to see. I believe that's what they paid for, but it's good to see that's what they're going to get. They'll be on the court, I'd say, probably 9:30-ish. And we'll have a good way to end the night. Full match, 2 out of 3 sets.
standard scoring for that one. Venus Williams.
So you could have a match that went 25 minutes, whatever this went, and a match that could conceivably go possibly two and a half hours. Last time they played, I think, just a week or so ago, that Venus beat Serena 7-6 in the third. I'm assuming that was at least 2 hours.
And there will be a rest, about a half hour, for Serena to catch her breath before she tries to beat her big sister. And coming up, a very, very special presentation honoring the great Billie Jean King, who has done so much to make a night like this possible. So a reminder that 4 women started here in New York City. Jelena Jankovic, who finished last year ranked #1 in the world. Venus Williams took her out. And now sister Serena has advanced past Ana Ivanovic. So the Serbs are gone, and the sisters will be playing in the final. And Michael Barkan is with Serena right now. Michael.
All right, Mary, thank you very much. Serena, congratulations. I think 1-all 15-40, and then 4-2 15-40. You come back and win both times. That was really gritty there.
Yeah, I just was able to do it. I mean, she started playing really good and really aggressive, and I thought, well, 15-40, you really have nothing to lose. So, you know, I just was so excited to be playing in Madison Square Garden. I think I was a little nervous.
Give us a sense of how this equates to the tour. You're playing 1 set for the right to go to a championship round.
Well, I'm not the fastest starter in the world, so I was like, okay, I got to get out to a really fast start. And it's really cool. You just have to be able to play.
I don't know if you heard, but Venus was rooting for you. She said she wanted you to win.
Oh, good. I was rooting for her to win.
Now, what happens, because she's been back there resting, you've been playing, what are you going to do in this interim?
How much time do I have?
You got about 20 minutes, half hour.
Well, she has an unfair advantage.
When you look at the fact she's been traveling all over the world, she was in Dubai, then Acapulco, do you have any kind of advantage in terms of being fresh because you haven't been traveling like she has?
Well, no, she's coming off 2 amazing big wins, so congrats to her. So she's obviously has so much confidence right now. It's always dangerous playing a player who just won 2 tournaments.
Playing in Madison Square Garden, this arena, Billie Jean has played here, obviously. Johnny Mac's up there, Mary. Just your thoughts on playing here.
It's just awesome. I'm so excited to be a part of the Billie Jean Cup, and I've never played Madison Square Garden, so this is such a great experience for me. I love playing in New York. It's like, it doesn't get better than playing in New York, and you guys are going to have a great match coming up, so look forward to it.
You think this goes 3 sets coming up?
I don't know. We'll see.
All right, Serena, congratulations. We'll see you coming up. Serena Williams moving on. Mary?
Thank you, Michael.